Hello everyone, my name is Ravi, and as you would have already known, in this video we are going to do a review of Rythmik L12 sealed subwoofer. I had already done unboxing of it a couple of months back, so if you're looking for unboxing and setup and a first impression video, it'll show up somewhere here, or it'll be in the comments, it'll be in the description link down below. So there was a lot of feedback in that unboxing video. I want to thank all of you for giving me their honest opinions and reviews. Thank you very much again. Now in this video, I'm going to do the tough task of reviewing a subwoofer, which is not easy at all. The sub goes very low, and I may not have any equipment that can record that sub going that low. And also, remember, subwoofer is all about an ambience and a setup. That setup can never be reproduced over in a video call. So what I'll try and do that in this whole video today, I'll try and cover some important things. So first I'll start about a quick introduction, then I'll show you the configuration that I have on the subwoofer, in the TV, then in the subwoofer at the back. So when I say the TV, I mean the AVR configuration, and then we will play some sample test tracks. And then at the end, I will give you my final impressions of how it's been my experience of using the subwoofer for last 2.5 months, approximately 3 months if you can call it. So let's get started. So first up, let's start with the introduction. This was a COVID lockdown buy. So in India, the government announced a lockdown towards the end of March, and I placed the order for the subwoofer somewhere in the middle of the March, which meant that this subwoofer was not coming to me during the, it was not coming to me for a very long time. It came to me sometime mid-May. That's when I did the unboxing and the first impressions video. In that video, as you would have, if you've seen, you would know that I wasn't really greatly impressed with how this subwoofer was performing. I had higher expectations, or maybe different expectations, and this subwoofer was nowhere able to match those expectations. Having said that, I do not have a lot of experience in different subwoofers to test as well. So before this, I had a Yamaha SW50 subwoofer, which performed terribly bad, and that was a very poor experience. If you want to have a look at that subwoofer, I'll put the link in the description or in the somewhere box here. So after that, I did not had any subwoofer for quite some time, and then I got this courage to get this subwoofer and plug it into my setup. My setup was running 3.0. With subwoofer, it's 3.1. So I still do not have a surrounds in my setup as yet. I'm planning to, but I do not know when that's going to happen. So overall, I've been enjoying this subwoofer 2.5 months, 3 months. Initially, there was it took its own sweet time to ramp up and come to its maturity, or go through that run-in period. And now, since it has run in, I believe the quality has gotten much better. So putting it through the run-in was very important. Now let's go ahead and have a quick look at its settings that are there in the AVR. It'll give you an idea that how I have gone ahead and configured it in AVR. So here are the settings for this subwoofer in my Yamaha AVR. As you can see, my Amazon Fire Stick is being updated as well. I'm pretty impressed that this Fire Stick, which is close to 3 years old, is still getting updated. Anyway, let's get back here. So speaker is where all the settings are. Let's get in configuration. Subwoofer is set to use, which is the whole point. Crossover is set to 120 Hertz. Now I understand that a lot of people recommend to keep crossover at 80 Hertz, but that didn't work well for me. So I've kept it 120 because that was the ideal number for me. Subwoofer phase is set to normal. I tried with both normal and reverse, but normal gave me the best optimal output. Extra bass is on because I like the extra bass that Yamaha AVR produces and sends to the subwoofer. It really gives a good punch. Other than this, if you see, I have set the distance parameters correctly. Subwoofer is 1.2 meter away. Level, there is an up level to the subwoofer by 2 decibels. So there is little more bass, or there's more power going to the subwoofers. Again, I had played around with multiple options here with 0 and -2 and +2 and +5, and the +2 felt like giving me a very good overall blend. Now let's go ahead and have a look at the settings that are at the back of the subwoofer. There are quite a few settings. Let's have a look at that. So here are the settings at the back of the subwoofer. This is the power switch. I have set it at the 3 settings. You can put it on, auto, or off. On meaning it's always on. Auto means it'll go to standby mode when there is no signal being sent to it. If it's an auto mode not been used, it'll show red color, and the moment it starts receiving signal, it'll turn to green. And off is you turn this thing off. At the bottom here, you've got the switcher for 220 volt or 110 volt, depending on which country you stay. For us in India, it's 220 volt, and for US, it will be 110 volt. Other than that, all the major functions are here. So let's focus more on the controls here. Let's go and look at these things in detail. So first is PEQ gain. This is parametric equalizer gain. I tried multiple options, but 0 worked best for me. Bandwidth is set to neutral. Frequency is towards on the lower side because I wanted to have that control here. PEQ is set to on. Again, since it's set to 0, turning it on and off doesn't really make much of a difference. All of these controls here, the section of these 3 controls, does not make sense because I am using an LFE in. If I'm using a line in, then I can set the crossover control, delay, and the other parameters here. Most important change you would see is the volume. As you can see, I have set the volume which is towards higher side. The recommended volume is to set it at the middle, which is, I'll just show you. Recommended setting is to keep it here at the middle, but I have kept it slightly on the higher side like this because that gave me the best results overall. Let's play some test tracks. Like I mentioned, testing a subwoofer is not easy, and I'm going to do whatever I can, do my best to give you guys a good feel of how this subwoofer is going to sound. So let's go ahead and play some test tracks and see how the quality is. Overall, again, not much of an you're not going to get the same experience that I got when I was testing those tracks sitting here live, because the whole recording and the lossless that's going to happen over the YouTube. But you may get a decent idea of how it's going to look like. So first we will play a frequency test, or go through a frequency test of the subwoofer. Then we will try to play some no copyright songs, so some bass test songs. And then at the last I'll play a couple of trailers, maybe one trailer, probably an Aquaman trailer and a Tenet trailer. Just maybe I'll play half of those. If you really want to see elongated, just a test of me playing some tracks onto the subwoofer, do let me know in comments, and I'll just record a video only of the subwoofer playing those things. In whatever configuration you want, I can play it in 2.1, 3.1, or just the subwoofer being played, and I'll play it and post it if you guys really want to have more experience of how the subwoofer sounds. So let's go ahead and start testing the subwoofer. 1 Hertz, 5 Hertz, 10 Hertz, 15 Hertz, 20 Hertz, 25 Hertz, 30 Hertz, 35 Hertz, 40 Hertz, 45 Hertz,
I do, I need some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No. Something worse.
I gather you have an interest in a certain Russian national.
Now comes the main question of how has been my personal experience with the subwoofer. Start was not good. Frankly speaking, when this whole thing started, I spent close to 2 to 3 weeks configuring and finding an optimal level or optimal setting for the subwoofer within combination of different things that are behind the subwoofer and in the AVR. There was a lot of hit and try method to figure out what the best sound is, and it took me that long to perfect it because of the kind of house or kind of drawing room setup I have. So that was the initial reason of why it never gave me the right feel. But once it is set up, which is now, there is an amazing punch in the subwoofer. It goes as low as 18 hertz, which is remarkable for a home user like me to have a sub that goes as low as that. And the bass punch is so I don't know how to define that. The bass punch is so much onto you that you feel it. So even if it's giving you a music at the rate of like let's say 50 hertz or 60 hertz or 80 hertz, the feel of that vibrations reaching to me, which is like 10 feet from where the subwoofer is and where I sit and watch, is amazing. The feel is very good, and the best part is that for a lot of these configuration changes, I was able to get a configuration going that blended very well with my whole setup. So the purpose of having a subwoofer is not to just get a boomy sound. The purpose, it has to blend well. And if the subwoofer is not blending well, there is something wrong with your setup. I know there will be a lot of people who will recommend me to go and get another sub, which is, I'm not saying that you should not. There's always added benefit of having a second sub. But without a second sub, I am perfectly happy with this one single setup, one single sub setup that I have. So 3.1 is giving me enough of bass and enough of satisfaction, both in music and in movies. Now, it's more rewarding to listen in the music. So whenever I'm listening to music, either via Bluetooth share or via Amazon Music or from Spotify or from YouTube, I play it in 2.1 setup, so stereo plus a subwoofer, and that gives a kick which is unbelievable. Like even if I try to make you guys listen, I won't be able to pass that greatness across. So as a user of Rythmik L12, I think I'm a happy user now after 2.5 months. Now, if you ask me that would I have been better off buying 2 cheaper subwoofers rather than buying a good one, I'd leave that question to you, to your respective users. Depends on what's your taste. If budget permits, and if in future I really want to add the second one, I can add the second one, which will give me added experience. But without that as well, I'm totally fine and great with having a single subwoofer which is giving me a good sound output. So if you are in dilemma what you should you use 2 medium costing subwoofer or 1 expensive, I think I'd leave it up to you. So coming to the end, I've been very happy with the subwoofer, extremely happy, and I hope that in this review I was able to pass on some information to you. Ask me any questions you have. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you again for watching this video, and see you guys next. Thank you.